welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Raynah, and I'm here with writer, producer, and director Joel P.E. King. Joel, we left off talking about this amazing event you have coming up.
Yes.
I want to talk about how this event became birthed,
Yes.
and then we'll go in depth a little bit more with it.
Absolutely. Deeper Shade of Blues, that's my one-man show. Actually, and it literally now it's actually a one-man show, but when it first started off, it was me doing a bunch of monologues that have inspired me over the years as an entertainer. And then I applied music because I'm a musician, a composer, and I added dancing and some singing, everything that really spoke of who I am as an artist, and it had done really well. We've done it in Springfield, I've done it in Los Angeles, I've done it in St. Louis a couple of times, and so now Urban League has been so generous to bring us back, or bring me back, for another year to really pour out what I have to offer.
That's awesome. So then let's go a little bit more in depth on what they're going to see, what we're going to see when we...
It's I call it a Deeper Shade of Blues. It have had a lot of different subtitles. Being black in America, from oppression to freedom, just different ideas of what it is. Maybe I think it's like 8 different characters that I transition into on stage that gives an inside look on the male perspective, you know, on how one has dealt with sexuality, how one has dealt with the oppression of culture, how one has dealt with the idea of being the Uncle Tom, you know, the young man who so happens to have grown up in the project area, but because he doesn't look like, act like, talk like everyone, he doesn't respond to the environment as everyone else, he tends to get beat on, and so he enlightens us in that way. So there are so many different spectrums that we will travel, you know, but it's something that definitely can be useful to everyone that's in the audience on that evening. And
how has the Deeper Shade of Blues changed you?
It actually brings me back to what I'm supposed to do. Like when I go back and I read, because first, like I said, those were monologues that belong to other people. But when I really realized the value in the show, I said, you know what, if I can recreate this and put it into, I don't want to say my own words, but the words of the people that live inside me, so to speak, then I think I can really make this thing, I can push it and get more momentum out of it. And that's exactly what I did. So it means a lot. Like, it brings me back to my calling.
And how will this change your audience?
I definitely think it would give a clear perspective as just how we as men organize our thoughts, we as people respond to our thoughts, how we respond to the way that people respond to us. So it's really one of those things of like a cause and effect. Like you kind of get a firsthand experience of how it is. I speak of this one character that when I did it a few years ago, and I did it as just a solo act, as far as that was the only character that I did that night, and I had people to walk out. And I understood it because it was a drag queen character, and I get very apprehensive when it comes to doing things like that here in St. Louis, because it is a conservative city, so you got to be kind of careful as far as how people respect. But that was like, what, maybe 5 years ago, so I would hope, because he really brings a great message. Like when people really sat back and really listen to what he had to say, it's an amazing message that he has to say, and he's like the pivotal of, like, you go on this journey, and he's like, he brings you all this energy, and then you go inside of his life, and you realize that his skeletons are something really, really deep. And then it kind of stops us from like a lot of judgment and brings us to that point of understanding that I think we fail to do as a people.
Just like everything that you do, you know, causes you to stop and think.
Yeah.
I'm going to encourage our audience to come and see A Deeper Shade of Blues. I'm sure it's amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yay.
Thank you so much for...
And it's free.
And it's free. Well, it's on June 28th to the 29th at 7 p.m. at the Urban League, which is 3702 Grandel Square. And they can call for information at what number?
951-223-5735.
Or they can even check you out at JPek.
theart.com.
JPek.thearts.com, A Deeper Shade of Blues. Coming up on STL TV Live, Emily from the St. Louis Arts Alliance will be here to fill us in on more artistic events coming up in our wonderful city. Don't go anywhere.